Tomorrow we read Parsha Pinchas. I think I've said this vort so many times because I love this vort, and every year I find an opportunity to mention it again. So here it is again, in case you remember it. Pinchas does something amazing. He stops a terrible plague that's plaguing the Jewish people because of the daughters of Midian that I mentioned quickly last week. What Pinchas does is he alleviates the plague from the Jewish people by taking the matter into his own hands. He grabs a spear and he does what he has to do. If you're not sure what he does, read last week, the end of last week's Parsha, and read the beginning of what we will read tomorrow on Shabbat. What's amazing about the Pinchas story is that he's a grandson of Aaron HaKohen. And a few weeks back, when we read about the inauguration of Aaron, when Hashem chooses that specific family of the Levites to be the priests, the Kohanim, in place of the firstborns of every tribe of Israel, the Kohanim get this wonderful service for all eternity. Till today, people who are Kohanim are very proud of the fact that they are Kohanim. And they are hearkening back all the way to their ancestor, Aaron HaKohen. And what happened was, at that time, Hashem chose Aaron and his 4 sons, Nadav, Avihu, Elazar, and Itamar, to be the future Kohanim. And anyone born after this, any children that would be born, male children that would be born after this moment, would all become Kohanim forever. But there was a grandson who was already born, little Pinchas. Little Pinchas was running around. He was in this illustrious family. His uncle was Moses. His grandfather was Aaron. His father was Elazar, the son of Aaron. And the whole family become Kohanim. But little Pinchas is already born. So he's not a Kohen. He's not one of the chosen. And for 40 years in the desert, he's now a grown man. And I'm sure he must have felt, why was I not chosen by you, Hashem? What have I done wrong in my life that you just decided not to choose me? And he must have battled with that question for those 40-year travels in the desert. And then this terrible incident happens with Zimri and Cosby in front of Moses and in front of all the Jewish people, which you can read about in the Parsha. Now, I think a lesser man would look at this and see the terrible Chilul Hashem, desecration of God's name. He would look up at the sky and he would say to Hashem, feels good, hey? How do you like it when people are desecrating your name? Well, don't look at me. You never picked me when you could have. So you know what, Hashem? You're on your own. And Moshe was quiet and no one was doing anything in front of this despicable act of Zimri and Cosby. But Pinchas doesn't react like that. It says, Vayikach roimach beyodo, he took a spear in his hand and he fixed the situation for Hashem. And you know what Hashem says to him? You become a kahunat olam. Pinchas, now is your time. 40-something years later, now is your time. You become a Kohen forever. And not only that, he actually lives forever. He becomes Eliyahu Hanavi. And he will be here when Mashiach comes. He will be here to bring Mashiach to us. And that was his reward. Because he so easily could have said to Hashem, you never chose me for the job. I'm not going to choose you. But Pinchas was patient. Pinchas waited for his day. And indeed, his day came. And what's ironic is that had Pinchas been a Kohen already, there's all technical halachic problems with a Kohen who murders somebody or even kills someone by accident, whether he's allowed to serve in the temple anymore. So had Pinchas done what he had done as a Kohen, he would have lost his kahuna, and therefore Hashem in his great wisdom knew and saw what would happen, and therefore never made him a Kohen until after the event. Until after the event, the murder that he had to perform in order to rectify the name of God. Hashem in his wisdom knew what he was doing. But do we know what we're doing? How often in life do we feel like Hashem has forsaken us? that Hashem has forgotten about us. Hashem has moved on to neighbors and family members who are so arrogant with their grandeur and their happiness, and we're not. We don't have those things. And we look up at the sky and we say to Hashem, when is it my chance? Where's my miracle? Where's my lotto? And the truth is, we've got to be like Pinchas. We've got to take a leaf out of his book. We've got to be patient, because our day will come, and when Hashem needs us, and Hashem, in inverted commas, needs us, we need to step up, and we need to be there for Hashem. And then, all those wonderful things you were wondering about, they will surely come to pass as well. Shabbat Shalom.